Yesterday, we saw Alek Manoah show up to the ballpark with a brand new look. And you know what? He pitched like a brand new pitcher. Fernando Tatis Jr. passed his dad in career home runs on Mother's Day, so that was a lot of fun. And if you're not looking at the screen, check this out. The manager of the Cardinals and an umpire, they were fighting over whether or not the new Superman suit was cool or if it looked kind of tacky. Obviously, I'm joking, but it was a fake fight. We'll talk about what I mean by that in just a moment. And Boston rookie Cedar Rafaela, he might have just made the play of the year. All of that and more in today's MLB recap. We post these every single day, so stick around, hit that subscribe button. Also, just a quick reminder, don't forget to use code Fuzzy on SeatGeek to save 20 bucks off all of your tickets. And if you like daily fantasy sports, my code Fuzzy on Underdog Fantasy gets new users up to a $250 bonus credit. It's a lot of fun. Let's start the recap, and I just want to say there's nothing better than going yard on Mother's Day while you're wearing the pink gloves and swinging a pink bat, unless you're Jared Kelenic and you're facing the team that drafted and traded you, so that's pretty fun. He was traded for Edwin Diaz and Robinson Cano. It's nice to show some payback. Severino got some help from his offense. Pete Alonso tied it on an RBI single in the third, and Ronald, he got picked off twice in this game, which is kind of hard to believe. There's the first one. Sevy has a quick move. A lot of people were saying it was a balk, though. I can't really tell. So we head to the sixth. Luis was relieved by the breakout phenom Reed Garrett. He inherits 2 base runners, and Ozuna now has 39 RBIs on the season. That run is credited to Severino. The Braves that got their lead back, though, Pete Alonso, he hit the right center gap. Lindor scores, and right after the Mets tied it, Ronald, he got picked off for a second time. So the momentum seems to be favoring New York. Yeah, about that. Ozuna, he clobbed a base knock up the middle for his 40th RBI. He's the second fastest to 40 by a Brave since Hank Aaron did it in 59 and 70. Wait, why is Brandon Nimmo on my screen? I thought that he was hurt with a rib injury or something like that. So he apparently pinch ran for DJ Stewart and then stayed in the game. And no way, Brandon Nimmo, he just won the game. He walks it off on a 2-run home run. That was a lot of fun, and we have more of that coming. We're going to keep it rolling with back-and-forth games that were won in the 9th inning. Kyle Harrison, he had a tough first inning. He hit TJ Friedl, who just came back from a wrist injury, so that's scary. And he actually ended up loading the bases for Jeimer Candelario. Did Candy just hit a grand slam? Oh, Jung-Hoo Lee, I thought he just made the play of the year, but it also looked really painful. Jeimer, he gets 3 RBIs on a base-clearing double. Lee, he's going to have to get an MRI on that shoulder. I hope that he's going to be all right. Kyle Harrison did not allow a single run for the rest of his start, so this Matt Chapman RBI single in the 5th, which was then followed up by a 2-run home run off the bat of Lamont Wade Jr., we now have a tie ball game at 3-3. Lamont has been going stupid lately. Over his last 70 at-bats, he's hitting .353 with the 500 on base percentage. He's getting on base half the time. The Giants are actually up 1 now. Elliot Ramos, he has been a stud over the last few days. His second base hit of the day is a clutch one. He can be a franchise changer with his talent. He just needs daily at-bats. Blake Sabol, he's going to have to turn on the Jets to beat Ellie's cannon, and maybe Ellie tried too hard because there it goes. That ball gets away, and like really away. Ramos scampers home for their 5th run, and that was big because Jake Fraley, he had a pinch hit single, and Mike Ford, he went 430 to dead center. I had no idea that he was on the Reds, but there he is. Camilo Duvall and Luke Jackson, they held Cincinnati scoreless in the 9th and the 10th. So San Francisco, they're going to get their chance. Casey Schmidt, he's at the dish, and I thought we had another walk-off home run, but hey, a ground rule double works the same. The Reds, they fall to 1-9 over their last 10 games. We have 3 consecutive crazy games to start today's recap, which is wild because when Miami goes down 3 in the first, you can usually write them off, but not in this game. Nick Castellanos, he blasted off for a 3-run home run. He's got an 8-game hitting streak. He's raised his batting average by 39 points over this little streak. He has 7 RBIs over that stretch as well. I'm thinking that this is the play that got Miami to feel like, hey, maybe the baseball gods might actually be on our side today. Josh Bell, he swam out the way to avoid a tag, and then he scored on a Jesus Sanchez laser beam ground rule double. Jazz, he doubled to start the 3rd, and Wheeler, he walked Jake Berger, which was bad news because Josh Bell just put the Marlins on top. A 3-run shocker. I mean, I for one was not expecting that. Miami, they kept the pressure on in the 4th. Brujan, he was put in motion. He ends up at 3rd base, and Bethancourt, I did not just lisp, his name is Bethancourt, not Betancourt. He laid down a sac bunt, another run scores. Jazz, he's going to try Nick Castellanos, and he beat him. Jazz scores 1 easy, and just before rounding second, he was like, should I go? Yeah, I'm going to go now. He turns on the turbos for a triple. Braxton Garrett, the guy who gave up a 3-run home run to Nick Castellanos, he ended up holding Philly scoreless over the next hour-ish. He's taken out after allowing a few base runners in the 6th, and Edmundo Sosa versus lefties is one of those cheat codes. Jesus Sanchez, I don't know if he dogged it or bobbled it, but Sosa got 3 bags, an RBI triple to left field. That should should never happen. Sosa's effort played huge because he's now going to score easy on this Brandon Marsh sac fly. The game is tied at 6-6. This game is going to need extras. The Phillies, they couldn't muster any runs in the top half, so Miami, with one swing through a hole, they can walk it off. Pinch hitter and Manuel Rivera, he didn't do that initially, but the deflection ended up finding no man's land. It's over. Ball game. The Marlins, they make the comeback and they win 7-6. So that's the final walk-off of the day. Let's find the AL East and see if we have any updates on who's in first place. We'll talk about the Orioles after we recap the Yankees at the Rays. I almost did a double take because I thought for a moment that Spencer Jones, the super prospect, was in the lineup, but that was Jahmai Jones. That's his first big league home run. So when you're getting production from him and then a 2-run mammoth home run from your catcher, you know it's going to be a good day. Jose Trevino's 2-run tater was followed up by Aaron Judge's 10th of the year. It's also a 2-run home run. He's hitting .350 with 6 home runs and 14 RBIs over his last 15 games. The Judge, the MVP, the captain, he's back. The Yankees are cruising. Even this Jose Siri sac fly won't... Wait, hold up. Siri usually only pimps home runs, and that ball is out of here. 4 RBIs on 1 swing. Jose was getting pretty close to getting DFA'd by Tampa, so he for sure just bought himself some extra playing time. The Yankees, they replaced Caleb Ferguson with Nick Birdie, and he was awful as well. After hitting Randy, he's out. Luke Weaver, he's in, and there was some dirty camera work. They showed both relievers kind of sitting next to each other, sulking after they imploded. I mean, that's just mean. And oh, sweet Jesus, watch out. Isaac Paredes with the scariest RBI of his life. He got hit by a pitch. It hit his helmet. It's now a 1-run game. Now, the Yankees, they responded. They got some ducks on a pond as well. And Gleyber Torres, he finally did something productive. He still exists. That's just his 2nd home run. His OPS plus is now at 62, but you know what? It's a big home run. Trevino, there's his 2nd of the day. His first multi-home run game in a while. Yandy Diaz, he smokes a home run in back-to-back games. I did want to show that, but the Yankees, they get Palacios looking, and they beat the Rays 10-6. If the Orioles can't pick up a W, they'll still be in first place, but only by a half game. This game was a really slow burn because look at how the Diamondbacks scored their runs. Christian Walker, he lifted a sac fly. It's 1-0 Arizona. Now we're in the 5th inning, and Gunnar Henderson must have ran 100+ feet to make this grab. He easily saves 2 bases. Now the Snakes did load them up, but Corbin's dribbler probably isn't going to... Wait, it is enough because McCann had his foot off home plate. Suarez scores, and then Ketel Marte nearly hit a grand slam. He settles for Arizona's 3rd run, another sac fly. Okay, there we go. Jake McCarthy, he pimped his first big fly of the year. He makes it 5-1 on a 2-run sonic charge. McCann's bad day at the dish continued after Ketel Marte scored 1 easy on a single to right, and then Baltimore, they probably should have been out of the inning because Tucker Barnhart was showing off his snail speed, but McCann just whiffed it. The lefty specialist, Randall Grichuk, he did his job. His pinch hit double pushed it to 9 runs. This game is a wrap. Now, I will show Adley's 6 home run. He's hitting .305 with 23 RBIs. Zach Gallen, he went 6 innings, only allowed 2, and a double play ends this thing. So with that loss, the Orioles are now just a half game ahead of the Yankees, and the same thing is happening in the AL Central. Kansas City, they won this ball game in 1 single inning, the 4th, with Freddie Fermin and Hunter Renfroe cracking the code versus Patrick Sandoval. Sandy was sharp through 3, but it all came crashing down here. It's 4-0 after a sac fly from Michael Massey. Seth Lugo, he was a man on a mission. He wanted to go the full 9 innings with 13, 14 strikeouts. I mean, look at this guy work. Seth Lugo set a career-high 12 strikeouts. Him and Cole Reagans are a sick duo. He owns a microscopic 1.6 ERA, and he's not a big strikeout guy, so 12 and 1 start is just insane. He's out after 8 innings, 112 pitches, and I did another double take because I forgot that Willie Calhoun was on the Halos. I thought that Cole Calhoun was back for a second. Closer James MacArthur, he's been torched lately, but he gets his 9th save. Kansas City, they tie their season best. They're 8 games over 500. The Twins are also fighting for first place. They're tied with the Royals at a half game back of Cleveland. Ernie Clement, buddy, your job is to not kick the ball. This is not soccer or football. Manoah's on the bump, so there is no room for error. There you go, Ernie. He fields that one cleanly. That is a double play. And then Manoah, he's fired up for his teammate, and now he's extra fired up. He got Julian on a changeup. He sprints off the bump. He's feeling like old school Alek Manoah. It's weird saying that because old school Manoah was like 2 years ago. But anyway, skipping to the 6th, Alek and Bailey Ober, they were in a sick pitchers duel. Manoah, he's trying to keep his piece in the dugout while Ober had 9 punch-outs through 6 shutout. We'll talk about Bailey Ober more in just a second because Alek, he's now trying for 7 shutout. What? But guess who botched it again? Ernie Clement's 2nd error of the day. That was then followed up by a single from Willie Castro. Alex Kirilloff grounded out, so it should have been the 3rd out. And instead of going 7 shutout, the white-hot auto home run cheat code Carlos Santana pulled a ball that was 4 inches off the plate. And for the 2nd time this year, he's gone yard in 3 consecutive games. Manoah, he took it in stride. He was not phased at all. He got Vasquez the chase for a 6th strikeout, and his day is done. He goes 7 innings, 4 hits allowed, and all 3 of the runs were unearned. So he lowered his ERA. He allowed 0 earned runs. That's easily his best start in years, and Bailey Ober, he was disgusting as well. On pitch number 104, the 6'9 giant leaves after 6 1/3 shutty. He had 10 strikeouts and 1 measly little base hit. Ober, he has a 3.4 ERA since 2022, so he's been very solid. Max Kepler, he did extend his hitting streak to 14 games with a 2-run double in the 8th, but listen to this. Over his last 19 games, he's hitting .417 with 12 extra base hits and 17 RBIs. This game ends on a perfect line drive. Davis Schneider, I mean, if I'm him, I'm throwing my controller, and snags it. And with that, if Cleveland loses, both Minnesota and Kansas City will be tied for first place. Not only is Cleveland on the verge of losing first place, they're about to get swept by the White Sox if they don't pick up a W here. Estevan Florial, he was handed a free 3-bagger after Ortega olayed it, and Florial, he's going to test Tommy Pham's arm. The throw beat him, but Lee, he couldn't scoop it. Cleveland, they're winning for once. Hooray! Now, if you're not looking, look at the screen right now. Pay attention to this at bat. Andres Jimenez hit himself. That's straight off the kneecap. He fouled a ball literally off himself, and I thought that he was going to come out the game, but instead, that ball's going out. He gimped around the bases. The man, he had to really work hard for a second home run of the year. Josh Naylor, he laced his 8th double, and then David Fry, he's turning into a serious problem. I don't want to jinx it or anything, but the dude's hitting .310 with 3 home runs, 12 RBIs, and a .470 on base percentage. If you're a White Sox fan, look away, because multiple errors set up the Guardians for just a great day. A bad pickoff move was followed by a blunder at first base. That went into the dugout so J-Ram can score, and it just won't end. A pass ball makes it 6-0, and this is huge. Estevan Florial got a base knock off a lefty. He was 3 for 28 coming into this game. Then he gets a triple and an RBI double. Logan Allen, I do want to tip my cap to him because he finally was in batting practice. He goes 6 shutout with 3 strikeouts. He lowers his ERA to 5.5. The Guardians, they're barely clinging on to first place. The Tigers are still in the mix as well in the Central, and the Astros, they're trying to prove that they're also not really close to being out the mix in the AL West. Justin Verlander and Jack Flaherty had a breezy first half to start this one. Singleton made a nice play in foul territory to end the 4th inning. JV, he struck out Andy Ibanez for a 6th strikeout. He's now 1 away from going 5 perfect innings. He had 0 base runners, but Colt Keith, he ruined it. Bregman, he tried to make the cool play, but unfortunately, the perfect game is ruined. Keith ran himself into the 3rd out anyways, and okay, moving on. Jack Flaherty, he was very impressive, but I mean, this is even more impressive. He's got to be beside himself. There's like 10 dudes on earth who could hit that baseball out. Kyle Tucker now has an MLB best 13 home runs. The Astros broke out for 2 more runs in the 7th. Jake Myers had a pinch hit RBI. More on Myers in just a moment. Mauricio Dubon made it a 4-run lead on his 3rd base hit of the day. JV, he can put it in cruise control now. He's been so good throughout his career when his team is winning. Kerry Bonds, he had his bat fly away on Justin Verlander's 8th strikeout of the day. Spencer Torkelson skied winner for the final out, so the future Hall of Famer, he held his former team pretty much in check. He goes 7 scoreless on just 2 base hits allowed. Yainer Diaz and the Astros, they wanted to rub it in even more. He singled in 1, and then Jarren Duran 2.0 jolted an RBI knock. This Joey Loperfido kid could be a problem. He's hitting .320 with 1 outs above average, and he's top 10% in speed, so he's looking pretty good through his first 9 games. Loperfido showed off the wheels. He scores on a Jake Myers RBI single. 2 scored, but only 1 is credited as an RBI. Jake Myers, he legged out his 3rd hit in 2 innings. He had 3 RBIs despite not playing until the 7th inning. The Astros, they win big, but I'll have some mercy and show Torkelson his 2-run home run. That came after the 2027 AL MVP Akil Baddoo sparked a rally. He scored on a balk. Talking about Baddoo, and then Torkelson hit his 1st of the year. Spencer is having a weird season. He leads the American League in doubles, but he's got 1 home run and a 79 OPS plus. The second half of this next game was a literal home run derby. Do not go anywhere. The Mariners, they scraped together 3 early runs on singles and sac flies. Garber, RBI single. Sam Haggerty, RBI single. Dylan Moore, RBI sac fly. Where are the long balls? Okay, there we go. Chicks dig these. J-Rod, his 1st of the year is a 2-run blast, and that started a barrage of power swings. Max Schumann, he has a home run in back-to-back games. J-Rod, he missed his 2nd home run by maybe an inch or 2, but that's A-okay. Mitch Garver, he sent out a 2-run moonshot to make it 7-1, make it 7-2. Abraham Toro homers versus his former team. He's up to 4 home runs, 17 RBIs, and a 136 OPS plus, which doesn't make sense, but good for him. Luis Castillo's day is done after blowing 100 miles an hour past JD Davis. He had a whopping 8 strikeouts through 6 innings. Catcher Sebi Savala, he found a barrel, but so did Brent Rooker. Rooker has maybe been MLB's best hitter over the last 3 weeks. That's 10 home runs and 27 RBIs over 25 games. He's one of the best waiver pickups ever because remember, he was cut by the Royals after he was traded by the Padres after being traded by the Twins. Anyways, the Mariners, they turned 4-2 to end it, and they went 8-4. So now if the Rangers lose and get swept by the Rockies, they'll drop to second place behind the Mariners, and good for Adolis Garcia. He's been scuffling, so it's nice to see him driving some runs. He's got 31 RBIs despite the fact that he has been struggling. Oh my, Ezequiel Tovar hit one 900 feet in the air, like not far, but up in the air. That ball was up for forever. It came down 390 feet later for his 4th home run of the year. He's going to be an all-star one day. I was about to say just like McMahon, but surprisingly, Ryan McMahon has never made an all-star team, despite the fact that he's been playing Gold Glove defense, but this year the offense has really picked up. He's got 14 extra base hits and a 133 OPS plus. More Gold Glove defense. Brenton Doyle won a Gold Glove last year, and he showed why on the insane behind-the-back almost play. That was sick. He robbed Seager of a go-ahead double. Tovar made a nice backhanded play to rob the Rangers of another base hit. And okay, Colorado, they did it again. Brendan Rodgers, he won a Gold Glove in 2022. He's been very, very average since then, but he's only 27, and Colorado, they're going to give him a mile-long leash. Doyle, he worked a bases at a walk to end the scoring for both teams as Jalen Beeks. He had a scary final play. Montero and Diaz, they ran into each other, but the play was made. Colorado just swept the world champs, and the Mariners, they're back in first place because of it. The Dodgers are trying to even up the season series versus the Padres. They're 3-4 versus San Diego. Tatis and Cronenworth, they wanted to make sure that the Dodgers were 3-5 versus the Padres. Nando is now hitting .320 with 2 home runs and 3 stolen bases over his last 11. He just passed his dad in career home runs. Jake, he's on pace for 28 home... Wait, what's going on? They went to the replay, and yeah, they overturned it because it was an out, but Jake, he goes back-to-back. He's on pace for 28 home runs and 109 RBIs. Man, Max Muncy's defensive turnaround has been so much fun to watch. He robs Profar of a single. He's got 4 DRS already at the hot corner. He messed up his perfect game after walking Pages, and then the no-hitter, like the next at bat, I think Enrique Hernandez had a single, but he kept the shutout intact. Miguel Rojas flared one after getting fooled. He's through 5 scoreless, now staying with the 5th. Xander went 425 feet in the bottom of the 5th for his 3rd home run, and that thing was deleted. Darvish, he kept deleting Dodger hitters. He struck out Will Smith on a 95 fastball and then went out for a perfect 7th inning. His 7th strikeout ends his night. 7 shutty, 2 base hits allowed, and the Padres, they get their 4th consecutive series win. They haven't done that since 2021, but yeah, they're 5-3 versus the Dodgers this year. If this was the NLCS, yeah, they'd be moving on to the World Series of the regular season. So let's see why Oli Marmol and the umpire were jawing at each other. Miles Michaelis, he was god-awful in the 1st inning. William, that's a single. Yelich, he walked. And then Rhys Hoskins took a borderline, like I mean a borderline pitch. It could have gone either way. It was ball 4. Miles is standing like, where was that pitch? Because it would have been strike 3. Instead, it's now Joey Ortiz grounding out for an RBI. Gary Sanchez, he adds to their lead. It's 3-0, not 4-0, because Hoskins, he was thrown out at home by Alec Burleson, which was big time because St. Louis got cooking. Nootbaar, he took a walk with the bases loaded as well, so the Redbirds get 1 back. And now we're going to skip to the 5th because would you look at this? Goldie, he hit 1 out. He's always raked in Miller Park. That's 19 home runs and 62 games in Milwaukee. Now we're in the 6th. Goldie delivered again. His clutch single ties it at 3, and it's wild to see Miles Michael is still out there. He slammed the door on the Brewers over the next 5 innings. He held Milwaukee in check, and now he's in line for the W. Michael Ciani ripped a long double, and like that's one of the longest doubles you can hit without it being a home run. He's out trying for 3, but his go-ahead RBI gives him a blistering .476 batting average over his last 7 starts. Helsley, he's a buzzsaw, so you already know he was going to get the save. He's got 12 saves and a 1.4 ERA. Now, in this game, Oli Marmol, the manager of the Cardinals, he really got into it with some of the umpires because apparently the umpires had botched 2 calls. So the Cardinals, they won 2 replays, and I guess Oli was just kind of sick and tired of having to make up for their mistakes. This looked downright personal, but after the game, Marmol said he has no issues with the umpire. It was a fake argument to hype up his squad and rally the troops. I mean, it kind of worked, whatever, but yeah, a fake argument. He just admitted to it. We had another wild game down in Pittsburgh. Christopher Morel, he kickstarted this game with a 2-run home run on a slider in his wheelhouse. Hendricks, he was pretty good on the bump. He struck out 2 to start the 2nd and then got Tellez to pop up. He made 1 mistake, and to the worst guy possible, O'Neal Cruz hit that baseball 183 feet in the air. That's the highest home run in PNC Park history. O'Neal Cruz is hitting .370 with 4 home runs and 9 RBIs over his last 8 games. He's red hot. So it's still 2-1 Cubs in the 6th, but Pittsburgh, they stole a little bit of momentum. Triolo, he lifted a sac fly. Tachman has a hose, but Joe's in there. Jackson Winsky, he made a sick grab moments later to keep it at 2-2, and then Cruz, he made a nice little web gem as well. His diving play also kept it tied. Now we're going to head to the 10th inning. Bellinger, he singled in the go-ahead run, and the Cubs, they kept adding to it because Patrick Wisdom went 415 feet on a 98 fastball. He's hitting .321 with 2 home runs and 3 stolen bases. He's looked very impressive at the dish. This might be the year he finally cuts down on the strikeouts. The Cubs pushed home one more, and good thing they did that because Connor Joe, he would have tied it at 4-4. Adbert Alzolay has been so bad this year. Even his final out was smoked, but a save is a save. The Cubs, they gain a game on the Brewers. They're a half game back of first place, so there's a lot of close divisional races. Here we go. The Nationals at the Red Sox. CJ Abrams, he singled and tried to manufacture a run for his team, but he was cut down by Connor Wong. The call was overturned, even though he tried that cool swim move. He's out. Vaughn Grissom, he skied, went to Robles. There's a couple runners on, but that's going to be a can of... Oh, no, it's not. It popped out of Robles' glove. Everyone's safe. The bases are now juiced for Cedar Rafaela, and that just stings if you're Mackenzie Gore. Rafaela's 2-run double from the heavens was followed up by a wild pitch that Wong could not block, so Duran, he scores easy. Here comes the Nationals, though. CJ Abrams, he's now 2 for 2 on 2 pitches. It's just that Victor Robles forgot to plug in his brain. After dropping an easy out, he ran into an out, and Boston, they ended up getting out of that inning unharmed. So it's 3-0 in the 4th, and I don't know if it's 3-0 anymore. Eddie, he hit one out, but did Rafaela make that catch? He didn't. It bounced off the glove. Insane efforts from both him and Jung-Hoo Lee, who almost had 2 otherworldly robberies. Now, speaking of robberies, the Nationals, they robbed themselves of 4 base runners. Nick Senzel, he got picked off. That's their 4th out on the bases. Make it 5. Jacob Young, he can absolutely fly, but he had an awful jump. He probably should have stopped and reversed course, but Jansen now has 7 saves. He's got 427 career saves. The Red Sox, they've won 2 in a row, and they're now 21-19, thanks to an MLB best 2.75 team ERA. That does it for today's recap. Thank you so much for watching. If you watched all the way until the end, you're a real one. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and enjoy the web gems.
Needing to raise the win. 1-1, grounded softly towards the shortstop hole. Volpe backhands, off balance throw.
And hits the ball to left. Reynolds coming in. Still coming in. Diving catch. There goes.
Ground ball to the hole. Sosa gets to it, throws over to first on one.
Takes off, and it's hit to third. Diving stop, McMahon. Throw in time.
Baez lays out, and Javi vacuums it up.
3 games for the Giants before he was designated for assignment and the Brewers acquired him just a couple